Happy 4th of July, everyone. With today being the birthday of the United States, which is where I, live, I thought we should do something a bit different for one of my favorite holidays of the year. I love America, and I hope a lot of you love America as well. America allows us to freely make videos like this, and that is something that shouldn't be taken for granted. America has a lot of great things, like freedom, awesome landmarks, great food, and one of the most diverse cultures of any country in the world. Another great thing that America has is a whole heck of a lot of great roller coasters of all different shapes and sizes. Here in America, we just about have any type of roller coaster you could imagine or ever want. Today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 roller coasters that represent America the best. We're talking about coasters that just capture what it means to be American. It's really hard to put into words, but I'm talking about that feeling that you get when you ride an old classic wooden coaster, just that pure patriotism feeling. Now, a couple of rules I'd like to put down for this list is that all of the coasters on this list will have to be from America. Obviously. Also, just because a coaster has an American theme doesn't necessarily mean it'll make this list. I'm not trying to say those coasters don't represent America or any less American than the coasters on this list. I'm just trying to make this list more interesting than just ranking American themed coasters. Also, this list will not be a list of the best coasters in America for anyone who already couldn't tell. But this list will be a list of the most iconic and patriotic coasters in America. One more disclaimer I wanted to put down is that this list isn't really in any particular order, with maybe the exception of number 1. Mainly because I think it's really hard to say one coaster is more American than another, so just keep that in mind when watching the video. Now before we hop into the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well for more American coaster content coming soon. Now with that being said, let's count down the top 10 most American coasters. At the number 10 spot, we have Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket is themed to Hollywood and movie production, which is a big part of America. There's also some really cool buildings that the coaster dives through multiple times throughout the ride. You can also choose a song to listen to throughout the ride, which adds another cool element to the experience. The trains also have some awesome lights on them, which adds another cool element to the production theme. This coaster is also pretty iconic for Universal, which represents the film industry. This coaster is also a pretty big icon as far as American coasters go, and it also is an iconic ride for Orlando. At the number 9 spot, we have American Thunder. The reason why it's on this list is pretty self-explanatory, but I think there's a little more to this coaster's theme than meets the eye. First off, this coaster was originally named Evel Knievel as it was themed to the American Daredevil that shared the same name, and it also sits in the 1904 World Fair section of the park. This coaster's trains reps the red, white, and blue, but I also feel that the fact that this is a wooden coaster just adds to the Americanism of this coaster. Also, Great Coasters International kind of feels like the modern day manufacturer of iconic wooden coasters. They definitely are the closest thing to PTC in its heyday that's currently around. I really love the vibe this coaster gives off, and I think it represents America really well. At the number 8 spot, we have Patriot at Worlds of Fun. This one is pretty self-explanatory as well, so I'll go through a couple of things I like about it quickly. For one, the sign for this coaster is awesome. That eagle looks so cool. Secondly, the color scheme of this coaster is about as American as it can get. And third, this coaster is pretty much in the heart of America in Kansas City, Missouri, so that's just an added bonus. This coaster was also temporarily renamed the Patriot in honor of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. And American football is about as American as it gets, so that's there as well. Speaking of American football, taking our number 7 spot, we have Steel Curtain at Kennywood. Steel Curtain is themed to the Pittsburgh Steelers of the National Football League, and like I said, American football is really only a staple sport in America and almost nowhere else in the world. The Steelers represent the hardworking blue-collar middle class of America. but in particular the Steelworkers of Pittsburgh. The Steel Curtain was the name of the Steelers' defensive line that led them to 4 Super Bowls in the 1970s. The steel industry represented the plight of America back in the 1900s, which gives the whole city a true American feel. Also, Steel Curtain is the only sports-themed roller coaster in the country. Sports are one of the most popular forms of entertainment in America, and when they are combined with roller coasters, it makes an epic, patriotic combination. At the number 6 spot, we have another classic with Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia. This coaster opened as the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster in the world, and riders were given a red badge of courage button for riding the coaster when it first opened. This coaster has the appearance of a classic with its old school white color scheme. It also was recently made an Ace Coaster landmark for being the first wooden coaster built by Six Flags and being at the park for a substantial amount of time while being well maintained. Without this coaster, who knows where we would have been today with Six Flags, which is one of the biggest icons in the American amusement industry. At the number 5 spot, we have New Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This coaster is one of the most iconic roller coasters in the whole country. This coaster was the first coaster to ever feature a modern vertical loop, and it became an Ace Coaster landmark for this. It was originally named the American Revolution as this coaster was opened in 1976, the United States' 200th birthday. This coaster paved the way for all loopers in the years to come. It set an American precedent for innovation in roller coasters, making it one of the most iconic roller coasters of all time. At our number 4 spot, we have the New Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas. New Texas Giant was the first coaster to be converted by RMC from a wooden coaster to a steel coaster. It was previously known as Texas Giant before it was closed down and reborn as New Texas Giant. This unknown company from Idaho was making waves in the industry after the opening of this coaster. A new, smooth, airtime-filled attraction had been made out of a rough and unpopular wooden coaster. RMC kicked off a new kind of coaster war with this ride in 2011. This coaster represents the innovation that America created when the country was formed. At the number 3 spot, we have Racer, located at Kings Island. This coaster is one of the most important coasters in history. At this time, amusement rides were a dying breed. Popularity for these attractions were at an all-time low. Enter Racer, a new modern-day racing wooden coaster that would reignite the fire behind roller coaster innovation across the world and started the industry's second golden age. Racer was what many would refer to as a classic American wooden coaster, featuring a red and blue side with a white support structure. Without this coaster, who knows what amusement parks would look like today in America and across the entire planet. At the number 2 spot, we have yet another important roller coaster known as Magnum XL 200, located at Cedar Point. You didn't think I was going to skip Cedar Point on this list, did you? Magnum XL 200 was the first coaster to really take the rides to the next level. It was the first roller coaster to break the 200-foot barrier and became the first hypercoaster ever. This kicked off a coaster war that we still feel the effects from today. Magnum screams Americanism. It represents innovation and fits the classic role of a roller coaster next to the beach. Whether or not you like this coaster, you cannot deny its importance to America and the world. At the number 1 spot, we have the Coney Island Cyclone at Luna Park. This may be the most iconic roller coaster in the whole world. However, it feels like this coaster is about as American as you can get. Cyclone has just about anything you'd think a classic wooden coaster on the beach in New York City would have to offer. This coaster may be one of the best symbols of America. It has stood the test of time, facing closure, yet it still stands today even after all that has taken place in the last 94 years, and that may give it what it needs to be the most American coaster ever built. Once again, I hope you all are having a great 4th of July or had a great holiday if you are watching this in the future. If there's any coasters that you think I missed on this list, then feel free to tell me them down in the comments below. Like I said, I didn't really do this list in any particular order, so don't feel worked up about the order that I put these roller coasters in. I'll be doing some more usual content very soon, so make sure to subscribe to my channel if you like that sort of thing. Also, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video so I know to do something like this again if you want me to. Now, with that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.